Hi everyone, it's Gwen from Rustic Diva Design, and I'm back with the part 2 tutorial for this gatefold folio. Just a quick mention, if you haven't watched part 1, please watch that video in its entirety because there is a big blooper in that video that I need you to see before you start cutting and gluing and doing all these things. So please watch that video all the way through before you start this project. The same with this video. Who knows what's going to happen? So I recommend watching a full tutorial before you start doing anything yourself, because sometimes things happen, which they did in my first video, so my apologies. So anyway, we are continuing on with this gatefold folio. We have completed, I'm sure, here, let me just get the project that we are doing. Part 1, we completed this section of the project, which is the inside gatefold. So we have our 2 sides completed, the flap, and then this large pocket and the 2 small pockets here. I went ahead and did a little, I just decorated this pocket here. And then I decorated the tags for inside these pockets that we put on, and so just to save some time. So let's go to the next step in this project. We're just going to set this aside for a second because that part is done. So now we need to do, oops, turn this around. We're going to work on making the outer gatefold. So we are here in the steps. So the outer gatefold die cut, and we're going to glue down the waterfall. So let me get that back here and just show you. So this piece is already completed. This is what our piece looks like now. So we're going to work on the inside first. We're going to put these pieces down. Then I'm probably going to mat the outside, and then we'll come back and add this waterfall, okay? So just using that as a reference, this is what I have for the inside. So all of the waterfall pieces are included in your kit. I went ahead and matted the fronts just to save time. So there's 12 pieces, 6 for each side, 6 for each flap here on the inside. Except for, let's see, I just have 1 left to mat. So let me just tell you how I want that. How do I want that? Okay, hold on. So this is your waterfall piece that comes with the score line at the top. And then the pattern paper that I cut to fit the waterfall is 3 1/8 by 4. And then you'll also need to round the corners on your pattern paper because the waterfall pieces are rounded. So let's just glue this on, and then, whoops, here. Let's fold it. I'm going to fold it. So then we have this, and so I really don't have any rhyme or reason to the pattern papers that I'm using, other than I want the top 2 to match. And you don't have to do it that way. It's just how I want to do mine. So you can decorate these however you'd like. And what I would recommend is decorate your waterfall pieces last or towards the end of your project, because you're going to have a lot of scraps from cutting down other pattern papers for other pieces in this project. So you'll have a nice bunch of scraps to use for your waterfall pieces after you do that. So that's just my suggestion. Okay, so here is the cover piece for this gatefold folio. Okay, so this is what we're working with at the moment. Never mind those for a second. Okay, so this is the cover piece. Let me just take this out because we need to do some folding. So this is this part right here of the album. So this is how it comes. All your score lines are on here. So we're just folding on the score lines, and if you can see my writing, just hold on a second. Don't write anything down yet because I'll tell you what that's for. So I'm just folding on the score lines. This outside cover piece. So this is what you're going to end up with, because this whole piece of the inside gatefold is going to glue inside of here like this. And then this is going to be your, there we go. My thing wasn't closing. Like that. Okay? That's how what we're going to do. So let me just decorate the inside now. So we don't have to decorate this. I'm just going to unfold this so it stops flopping in our way for a second here. We don't have to decorate the middle part of the inside of the cover because this is all going to be covered up with that inner gatefold piece. But we need to decorate these two little sections here in the side, the fold, because those will show when you open up the album. So the pattern paper for these two little sections measures 1 1/8 by 8 3/8. So I'm just going to decorate like this and like that. So that's what we're going to get. And I'm just lining these up, gluing them down in between the two score lines so they're not hitting when you fold this up. And it's the same measurements for both sides for your pattern paper. Okay. Now before I start gluing the waterfall pieces in, I want to decorate the outside of the cover so that that's all finished and we don't have to worry about any bulk getting in our way. So I have these two pieces here for the outside of my album, and the pattern paper for these two sides is 3 1/8 by 8 3/8. So we can go ahead and glue those on. And if it works better to unfold this while gluing your pattern paper on, you can certainly do that. I might do that with the other side. And then this side. So I'm just gonna go like this and make it flat just to make it easier on myself. Okay, so we have our two outside flaps covered. Now we want to cover these, because these will show, and then the back of your album. So let's see, where do I have that? The pattern paper I'm using for the outside little you know, the spine area is, my glue isn't sticking. Why not? Okay, so the pattern paper again is 1 1/8 by 8 3/8, and the both sides are the same. And I'm going to be using these. So if your paper is directional, make sure that you are gluing correctly, the right direction. If you watched my first tutorial, you'll see my big boo-boo with the project was upside down for a minute, and wow, did that fluster me. So, but we fixed it. We fixed it. Okay, again, just gluing in between those folds, those score lines, so that we have room to fold this up. Okay, and then we have a piece for the back cover, and that pattern paper for the back measures 6 3/8 by 8 3/8. So that's just gonna go on here like this. So we're gonna just glue that on, and we'll be finished decorating the outside of the cover for the most part. That's a lot of glue. That's a big sheet. So I'm just gonna move this a little bit so I can see. And again, just in between those folds, your score marks, so that you're not getting on the fold. Just getting that glued down good. Okay, so now we have the outside cover all decorated. So we have this, and then our little spine pieces and the back, and that's it. So again, making sure that your project is facing the right way. Okay. We're gonna get to the waterfall portion. Now this, this is the waterfall instructions. So I followed the instructions on putting the waterfall in from the instruction sheet. So this is what we're gonna do in the video. If you wanna do it a different way, you certainly can. But I made mine look just like it looks in this picture down here. So just to show you that in the other one, this is how it's gonna look when we're done. Okay, so we are starting with the bottom waterfall piece first and gluing up from there. So however you want to decorate, sometimes these stick together. So, okay, so I'm starting with this piece, making sure you're in the camera here. And I'm just going to draw a little bit of a dry fit first to make sure that, so I have black on black right now, so it's a little bit harder to see. But I just want to gauge where I'm going to start just by dry fitting. And you might have to be a little bit over to the left when you're working on the left-hand side of this waterfall so that you don't get in this fold here. And that's okay. So I'm just going to add some glue. And again, you can use score tape, double-sided adhesive if you want to. I prefer the liquid glue because it gives me some wiggle room. So I'm just starting here and just leaving like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch at the bottom. And just making sure that it's straight. See what I mean? Once you get going, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. So, that first piece. And then just gluing that down. And then the second one. So again, if you want to do a dry fit, and it's up to you on how much space you want to leave in between your little pieces here. So this one here I did right to, so I just basically put them right up next to each other. And then that makes it easier too as far as spacing. So then just looking at that first waterfall piece and then just making sure everything is straight and gluing that down. And so on. So here we go. I know this is going to be a little bit of a thing. That's why I'm like, fast forward is okay. If you know, understand what I'm doing here and just want to move on, I totally get it. And the reason why I'm showing you this way in the tutorial is because, you know, what do you do at the top here when you're done? And I'll show you what I did. Get some glue there. So I'm just kind of opening these up as I'm setting them in here, just to see where they're gonna hit on my page. And because I'm using liquid glue, I want to make sure they're tacked down well before I move on to the next one. So this is going pretty well so far. And then the last piece. Sorry, mine's moving here. There we go. Okay, so we have this part left. We'll get to that in a second. So now we want to go to our right flap and start our waterfall. And so what I just did is, you know, just kind of space it the same distance as your other one. It might not be exact, but it's going to be within a smidgen, so it's perfectly fine. I am so paranoid after that first mistake I made. Oh my gosh, I've been extra careful, checking and checking and checking everything. So don't mind me, I just want to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. So again, just putting that one right next to the one on top and making sure they're even before I glue them down. That's the nice thing about using liquid glue. Gives you a little bit of time. Almost there. had this paper collection in my craft room in my stash for a while, and I never really knew what I wanted to use it for until I got this kit. And so it's super cute. I'm thinking that this is super cute. It's working out nicely with this project. Now, see, if I get in a hurry, then things go wrong. And the last one. Okay, there we have it. Waterfall. Is complete. Now we have the space that we are just going to add some pattern paper to. So let's measure. I'm gonna do like 1 7/8 by 3 1/8. So I have some scraps. Oh, and that's too short. Darn it. So I'll have to pick a different one. I should have checked that. Oh, here, maybe this will work. Yeah. So 1 7/8 by 3 1/8. Let me just double check that. Pattern paper, so let me cut that. Actually, before you cut both pieces, see, make sure they're gonna fit. So this is a little bit short, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it because I already cut it. And that looks okay because it's black here. And that's gonna work. But how did I not get that? It's totally fine. I'm gonna stick with that. So measure your area. Before you cut your pieces. That's why I saved that for right now, because I didn't know what my dimensions were for that part. It all depends on how your waterfall turns out. So, but again, if you wanted to decorate the entire piece, you can. The flaps. If you wanted to put pattern paper on the whole flap, you could do that as well. Okay. So now we have all this finished. Now it says glue the inner gatefold inside the outer gatefold. So that's what we're going to do next. So here is the inside cover. This is our outside of our cover. So we are just going to glue this inner gatefold in onto this section right here. So again, I like to do a dry fit, and then I close this up and just kind of, you know, get it to where it needs to go so I can look at it and see. So what I'm going to do is just add glue to this. Just keeping away from your folds. Don't do that. And then just a little around the edge here. Okay, so I just want this to stick down really good, and my glue is okay. So laying it on here first, in between those score marks, those fold marks, and use that as a guide as well. So I just fold this up and fold this up and see what that looks like. And looks pretty good. So I'm just giving this a pinch at the top just to give it a start to gluing it down, because you're working with a lot here. So now I want to open this up so that I can burnish it down now. And we can flip it over. Just getting the glue to take. Okay. So now our inside piece is attached to the cover. Okay, and now we have this. Now all we need to do is add the closure. So I have that piece here. I'm just making sure, I'm just looking, making sure everything is sticking. So I have the closure here. So that is, and I brought some things to decorate it. So that's this piece here. You can do it either way. You can do it this way or this way. I'm gonna do it this way just to give me a little bit more room. So this piece for the pattern paper, I cut 4 3/8 by 3 3/8. So here is our pattern paper that I'm going to be using, the same one for the front and the back. And now here is the magnet set that comes with the kit. I have to admit, I've never used these type of magnets before, so this was new to me. But once you do it, how come I got two? There. So they're like this. Okay, so I want to put pattern paper on the front of my closure piece first, because we're going to glue the magnets on this side. Now, before we put the second piece of pattern paper down, we need to get our magnets on. So they're going to go on this side because it's going to close. This side's going to get glued down. This side is going to have our magnets. So again, some dry fitting before we actually start gluing things. So I'm flipping this over, and I know that my magnet has to go over here. So what I do is just glue this on, giving myself room for pattern paper to cover it. About like that. Now these might need just a second to stick. Okay, so we'll give that a second. In the meantime, let me show you what I'm using to decorate. So it's gonna look something like this. I'm gonna put this on here, and I have these cute little flags. So I'll show you what my idea is. So again, the magnets are gonna go that way. So in order to get the other part where it needs to go, we're going to put this on here where you want it to fit, and then add a dab of glue onto your And I'm gonna probably glue it about right there. So what this is gonna do is just show me where my glue marks are. So I have a glue mark here and here. So I'm adding glue to stick those magnets down on my page. And again, these take a minute to dry, so just pressing those on, and then we're just gonna leave that sit for a second. Let that glue take hold. Okay, now we can decorate this side. And my paper isn't directional, so it's okay. But if your paper is directional, you want to make sure that you're covering your piece, because when you open the book, you're going to see this side. Do I have you in here? Sorry. So just covering that with a piece of pattern paper. And I'm not burnishing right on top of the magnets. Just kind of being careful around those. So now I know my magnets are here. And these are still drying. So I don't want to add that yet. So let's do what I was gonna do and just kind of work on this piece while we're waiting. So I thought of doing, so I had some, oh, here they are. I have some foam pieces. I was gonna do a pop-up thing here. I'm not gonna get too crazy with this until, so I wanna do something like this underneath. Here, let me do this first. Like that. Like that, and then I was gonna pop this one up on foam. And just pop it up here like that. Something like that for our closure. So where, this green on green here, I don't know, but I'm leaving it. I'm gonna leave it. So I'm just going to put these on here while we're waiting for our magnets. And of course everything's moving because I moved it, because I touched it. That looks okay. Just putting this one up a little like that. I'm just eyeballing these. This is going to go like that. Something like that. And then I'm going to pop this one up. I'm paranoid. Okay, I want to make sure. I think these are okay. Yep. There, they're sticking. They're sticking. Okay, let me just put this on here. Okay, before I pop up this one little piece here, we're going to glue this on. We're going to glue it on the book. So I just take my book, get it where the magnets are catching, and then that's your idea on where to glue. So I'm picking it up right where in the middle here, and I'm gonna glue up from here. And again, this will go where your magnets are, and then bring this album, close it a little bit so that, and then make sure everything is straight, and then we're going to glue this down, or try to. Just give it a second to take hold, and then see, crooked. I don't want it crooked. And then just open that up and give it we can go inside our waterfall here. Or just flip it. Okay. There's that piece. Now, if you don't like, see, this kind should have did this a little bit tighter, but it's okay. I can kind of just fold it better like that. It'll get there. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's okay. Now, oops, I have either this piece of ephemera or this piece of ephemera, either one, to go over the magnet. Now, this piece of pattern paper you could have waited to glue down and then put your magnet on. I just did it the way I found it done. So either this one will work or this one. I think I'm going to use, so when this closes, yeah, I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to glue this on top of my magnets. Using this as a guide. I want it covering the magnets, but I don't want it to hang over, or so that you can see when you close it. It's kind of like a little surprise under there, if you want to say that. So I'm just pushing that down. And there you go. So then that closes up like so. And now we can, I'm just going to add this little piece on. I'm going to pop that up on some foam like so. And any little foam dots will work. So just looking where I want to put that, like probably like that. I add a little bit of glue to mine. And then just centering that. Let's see, it's a little bit off. There we go. Okay. Just press those on. And that's on there. Okay, so for the inside, I have some cut aparts here. I just want to put my glue bottle back together. Okay, so cut aparts. For the inside, I said I decorated this. So you could, I don't have any 4x6 cut aparts or larger cut aparts that are this, they're only this direction. So I'm just putting that on the inside here. And then I have these for the pocket here. Can go like that. And then there's a whole bunch of different ones you could just stick in there like that. You can put cut aparts inside of these pockets too, but these are pretty deep. they're going to fall in there, and no one's going to know unless you tell them that they're in there. So this, same with this pocket, it's pretty deep. So that's going to go like that. And that's pretty much it. So our tags are decorated and in the pockets, and our waterfall is on, and we glued all these things together, and our album is complete. So that is it. That's the tutorial for the gatefold folio scrapbook template from Craftreat. So again, I will link that in the video description. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. We actually made it without any bloopers, I think. Nothing major this time. So that's good. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would do that. And I love sharing my ideas and projects with you. So please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for when I upload more videos and projects. And as always, thank you for watching.